When I was younger, I always wanted to be rich and famous and just a big podcaster. So when I came up with this idea, I followed Eminem's footsteps, Chingy's footsteps. They both came from like a trailer park. I came from a gated park, which is the same thing almost. And my dad, I mean, he gave me like $250,000 up front, which wasn't shit really when you're starting a podcast. And from there, we've grown it to 450 subscribers. So it's going pretty well, and I'm proving myself as really somebody that started from the bottom, I think.
Jesse.
Yo!
I'm gonna be in the editing room just doing the last podcast.
Oh yeah, man, knock it out.
Okay.
Knock it out.
Holler if you need me.
That's the busiest guy on the crew right now. When I first found Seth, he was making YouTube videos for drag queens. And I saw his potential that was huge as soon as I saw those videos on YouTube. After that, I knew I had to hire him. Ever since then, he's been knocking out of the park. All of our video production that goes on the podcast. Without a guy like that, a podcast doesn't exist.
And that's pretty much the extent of what I do around here.
I first read about Jordan in the paper. He put some salts in his bath or something and ended up blind. I don't remember. But I remembered working for FedEx, and they never hired blinds. And there's a lot of companies out there that still don't hire blinds or gays or women. So when I started this podcast, I knew from the very beginning, we're not doing that here. I know we have sound. We have other things that we have around here that blinds can do. And so I hired him on the spot. His heightened sense of hearing really helps out Seth a lot because Seth is always tied up with video stuff. And after I started the podcast, I realized there's all sorts of things you can do here that don't require sight. Blinds can answer phones. They can type on keyboards. You know, they can get coffee. There's all sorts of different things out there. We let him drive the mower sometimes. The other day we let him drive the mower outside, and you know he had a little bit of help from the lawn boy and stuff. But yeah, we don't discriminate here. We don't care if he's blind. It's not that big of a deal. He's still a person. Even though he is blind, what I love about Jordan is his sense of humor. He still lets us prank him all the time if we need to. We can still poke him a little bit, poke the bear, blind bear, a little bit if we need to. You know, being blind doesn't take away your sense of humor. In some ways, it enhances it.
I've been teaching them all day. Me and Marcus got $5 on it. All right. Same thing we've been doing.
Hey, how's that last podcast sounding?
I can't hear a goddamn thing. It was just here. I don't know where the hell it went. God damn it.
Marcus is an old drinking buddy of mine. He was babysitting at the time I started this podcast. And the way he kept those kids in order when we were at the house, I saw it and I saw his potential. And who better to run a crew? A crew of a bunch of hooligans that like to have fun in the office. You need a guy like Marcus sometimes to really put kids in their place. Throughout our first year in this podcast, Marcus has really just been killing it. Keeping the crew together, getting things in order. He brings us breakfast sometimes when I tell him to. People need Marcus. And without Marcus, there's no Careers Over Beers podcasts. He's a huge portion of oversight, management, administrative tasks. There's so many things that I can just offhand to him, and I know it's going to run smooth, because it always has.
All right.
Hey, Marcus. How did that chief meteorologist episode turn out?
Oh yeah, the meteorologist. Let me check into that real quick.
Dyed it. It's still my grandmother's decorative plating.
Oh,
Dude, it had this beautiful gold
Hey,
rim.
hey.
What's up?
Did we interview a meteorologist?
Yeah, that was our last podcast. We're releasing it next week.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. You should have seen her reaction.
Hey, Jesse. Hey, yeah, we definitely interviewed a meteorologist.
Oh, yeah, good, yeah. Great, man. I remember now. Yeah, I remember that.
Printer's clear, boss.
That's good, Jared. Good job. Jared was the only applicant for his position, and I support the Blue. I've always supported the Blue, been a big supporter of them. So I hired him, and he roams the perimeter,
clear.
And we all are much safer because he's here.
Hey! What? all the time.
If you'd give me a second, I'd finish, just like you.
Fucking get to.
Hasn't caught any robbers yet or any people that are trying to like mess with our show or our equipment or anybody that's trying to like steal the podcast idea. Nothing like that. He's just been protecting the place, and I don't have any complaints about Jared other than he sometimes goes a little too far. Sometimes he doesn't need to check the perimeter because he just did it an hour ago.
Just doing my regular perimeter checks. Seem to have noticed a possible breach right over here. I'm gonna keep a close eye on this guy. Make sure he doesn't get any closer.
But we're all still safe. We're all still here. Nobody has cancer. Nobody's been killed. Nothing's really happened. He's done a good job as far as we can tell. So.
Fucking Jared.
I first met Kale because he was in the first season of Careers Over Beers podcast. Shout out. And when he talked about the way he ran off homeless people, how dedicated he was to keeping a lawn looking nice, that's all a big portion of running a business, running a podcast. We have this big studio here full of employees. There's homeless people. Sometimes there's protesters. Sometimes there's grass clippings all over the sidewalk. Who better to have? After I interviewed him on season 1, I knew instantly that I needed him to work around here. And it's worked out so great for me so far. Attention! We just hit 452 subscribers. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, crew. All right. Jordo, how's everything looking, buddy? Sounding. How's everything sounding? Good?
Like shit. A couple
Alright.
more of these, I'll get it figured out.
Well, we'll fix it. Video, Seth. Everything looking good on video?
Looks pretty killer over here.
That new intro's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I knew you'd get on that. Jared, everything's looking good. Kale, grass is looking great, I'm assuming?
Greenest grass this side of the Mississippi, boss.
That's right. We always have the greenest grass in the podcast game. Marcus. Pod Squad's looking good.
Thumbs up, squad's all here.
If you build it, they will come. A podcast is a lot like a band. You have to have 5 people working together. If you get rid of one of those 5 people, you don't have the Beatles. Or you don't have Nirvana. And my crew is great at working together. That's why I think that season 3 is probably in the best hands possible.
Yeah, you will. Action. Cut.